This year was an interesting year for this channel. I went through a format change and a name change, as well as added elements to my videos that incorporated reviews from the Letterboxd community. And thanks to you, I've reached 1,000 subscribers on my channel. And again, I thank you so much for that. I really appreciate it. But there's only one way to end this year for Watch Rate Heart, and that is to discuss my favorite first watches of 2025. Let's go! But before I start with that, yes, I gotta give you a bit of cinematic blue balls. Let's go over some stats. With the over 190 films I've watched this year, only 27 films I watched for the first time reached 4.5 out of 5 stars, which is the highest I would give a film that I have watched for the first time, which means about 17 will not make the top 10. I will show those films as honorable mentions as the list moves forward. But on the screen right now are 24 films that I have rated 4 stars out of 5. These are films that I have put in no particular order that I would also highly recommend that you watch if you ever get a chance to. Just because they didn't reach the 4.5s doesn't mean I don't love these films too. So definitely check these films out if you ever get a chance. So why don't we get started with my number 10 film. So, number 10. What haven't I said about Underground that hasn't been already said in other videos? This is a film that should not work at all. It's a cross between The Naked Gun and All Quiet on the Western Front. It is depressing, but it is also hilarious. It's thoughtful, but it's utterly stupid at times. The way that Imer Kusturica blends all that together into one 3-hour epic that is both hilarious, thought-provoking, heartbreaking, and visceral at times is what makes Underground such a special movie that I am incredibly surprised that more people do not talk about. If there is one film that I would say that really surprised me about how great it was Underground. Underground, my number 10 film. Let's move on to number 9. So let me start off with a statement that I think a lot of you will just say, well, no shit, Brad. David Lynch is a masterful director. Yes, I know. I'm saying something very controversial. But when we think of David Lynch, we think of his weird, esoteric, creepy films like Lost Highway, Eraserhead, and Mulholland Drive. And for good reason. They're great film. Well, Mulholland Drive is a great film. I haven't seen the other two, to be absolutely honest. So I'm assuming from all of you who have seen it, who love those films, that they are great films. But when I watched The Straight Story last year, I was really pleasantly surprised by how great that movie was. So I made it a point to watch The Elephant Man this year. And my God, is The Elephant Man a heartbreaking but incredibly well done movie. John Hurt's performance as a disfigured man, even though you don't even see his mouth, you only see his eyes, is a powerful performance. And while the film is considered a film about hope and about being accepted, there's a deep underlying factor that I found interesting as well in the film, and that is what the Doctor is doing a good thing overall? Because as much as he's trying to help him to communicate and to be in society, is he not putting him in a society that's going to ostracize him further, but in a different way? It's one of those things about this film that I actually really appreciated and enjoyed when watching this. So if you haven't seen The Elephant Man, you should definitely check it out. Number 9, The Elephant Man. Let's get into number 8. So when Flow won the Best Animated Feature on the Oscars last year, I really didn't think much of it. I didn't even know about it, to be absolutely honest with you. So when Flow also then went to the Criterion Collection, I was like, oh, maybe I should pay attention to this film. So in September, I had a video for family-friendly films, and the first movie I made sure to watch was this film. And I gotta tell you, I'm so glad I watched it. We can talk about how the film was made and how interesting that is. But what Flow did is something I wish The Wild Robot did, and basically had no dialogue whatsoever, but told a very good story that was heartfelt, but also exciting. It is a beautiful looking film, and for the risk that Flow takes, it really pays off in the end of the film. So, number 8, Flow. If you have not seen it, check it out. It is on the Criterion Collection if you haven't. Let's get into number 7. Yeah, so if you guys have been watching the channel, I said something very silly about American Fiction in the beginning of the year. And that was, I don't see how any other film will beat American Fiction for my favorite film of the year. And it's number 7, which gave me one lesson. Never, ever say in the beginning of the year, I don't see how this could not be my number 1 film. Well, lesson learned. But don't put that against American Fiction. But American Fiction is not only a hilarious film, it's a very thoughtful film. And it's about a person who feels unfulfilled and underappreciated and goes to a great length to mock something that he detests only for that mockery to be praised. It says a lot about our society and how we treat each other and how we treat specific people and how we treat specific stories of specific people as well. If you have not seen American Fiction, I would highly recommend it, especially if you like Jeffrey Wright. It has his best performance of his career so far. Number 7, American Fiction. Let's get into number 6. Number 6 has 2 of probably the worst titles I have seen in a movie, and that is Show Me Love, otherwise known as Fucking 'Em All. My God, 2 terrible names. But do yourself a favor and do not pay attention to the titles, because this film is a lovely film that I was very surprised I loved so much. This film blends realism with Hollywood romanticism in a way that is incredibly well done. The story of 2 high school girls who end up falling in love. If you celebrate Pride Month, and if you have not seen this movie yet, you should. It is honestly the best LGBTQ film I have seen, period. I think it is the best out of any of them. So, number 6, Show Me Love, aka Fucking 'Em All. Alright, so let's take a break here and let's get into the honorable mentions of this year. Move down the list and let's get to number 5. So I watched Tokyo Story last year from Ozu, and I really liked Tokyo Story. But honestly, I find Late Spring to be a much better film and a much more heartbreaking film. Late Spring is about a relationship between a daughter and a father, and what the father thinks that he does is right to help her daughter move on to be a mother and to be a wife, which is accustomed to their society. It is a heartbreaking film at times, but it's also a film about what a father has to do and what a man has to do to better the people that he loves, even if it means sacrificing his own comforts to do so. I actually really like the main female lead in this film. I think she is actually really charming and sweet, and which makes it all the more heartbreaking what happens at the end of the film to the father. If you have not seen Late Spring, and if you have not seen an Ozu film, I would highly suggest doing this one first. Number 5, Late Spring. And here comes number 4. So like a lot of people in 2019-2020, I fell in love with Parasite from Bong Joon-ho. And I was really looking forward to seeing more of his films. And I think a while back I bought Memories of Murder on Criterion, thinking to myself, I'm going to see this eventually. So I chose this year to see it, and I have to say, so far, this is Bong Joon-ho's best film. Period. It is a funny film at times, but it's also a heartbreaking film. It honestly has the best of everything that you could want in a crime film. It has very funny and very charismatic characters. It has a great mystery behind it. And even though that it is a captivating mystery, you know what? I'm not going to spoil what happens. So, all I will say to you is this. If you love crime films, and you like Bong Joon-ho's films as well, and you haven't seen it, you should definitely see Memories of Murder. Number 4, Memories of Murder. And we are at the top 3. So, number 3. As my introduction to Hirokazu Koreeda, I was actually pleasantly surprised by Maborosi. I've heard good things about this. I remember when I used to watch Siskel and Ebert, this was on the top 10 list of that year for, I believe, Siskel at that time for 95. And honestly, I kind of forgot about it after a while. So when I decided to review films from 1995 this year, I saw this film on there and goes, you know what? I should give this a shot. And man, I was not prepared by how powerful this movie is. And the power of the movie is not only from the direction by Koreeda, which is really good, but by the performance of the main actress, Makiko Usumi. Honestly, her performance is more of what her character doesn't do and emote and what she does. But that final scene in the beach, my God, is just a cathartic and just powerfully moving scene that I still remember watching to this day. Just an amazing movie. And if you have not seen Maborosi, you should definitely see it. And my God, if Criterion is putting more Koreeda films on the Criterion Collection, they have to get Maborosi. I would buy it day one. Number 3, Maborosi. All right, and we are on the final 2. So what is the runner-up for my favorite first watch of this year? Number 2. I mean, honestly, what could I say about Once Upon a Time in the West that has not been said? The beautiful imagery, the amazing music by Ennio Morricone, performances, the tension, everything about the film is as great as I have heard everyone say it is. Probably even more. I thought I knew what my favorite Western was before watching this film. That honestly was True Grit by the Coen brothers. I love that movie. I think it's a great movie. I still think it's a really good Western. But I have to admit, Once Upon a Time in the West is something special. And if you are into Westerns, hell, I'll even say this. If you are not into Westerns, see Once Upon a Time in the West. You may very well become a fan of Westerns. Number 2, Once Upon a Time in the West. So before I get to my number 1, I'm going to show you my 10 most memorable scenes from this year's first watches. Alright, and that leads to my number 1 favorite first watch of this year. So, number 1. So there's a simple reason as to why I think Persona is my favorite first watch this year. And that is that I am still thinking about what the film means. And it's not one of those things where I'm getting frustrated. like saying, oh my god, what the hell was the point of that movie? It was more like how I thought when I watched Mulholland Drive. I want to watch it again and know more, but when I watch it again, I have more questions. But I still want to watch it again to see if I can get more out of it. It's just one of those films that is a constant puzzle, but it's a very satisfying puzzle in that. I love Persona not only for how it looks and the performances and what Ingmar Bergman does in directing the film, but just how it makes me think and how it makes me feel about how I think about films. For people who have not seen Persona, it's really hard to explain what makes Persona so special. So I would have to say, if you are into films that make you think or that may be a little confusing or puzzle-like, you should definitely see Persona. It is an amazing film, especially if you like David Lynch's more confusing films. If you like those films, you must see Persona. My favorite first watch of this year, Persona by Ingmar Bergman. So let's go back to the list once more. Number 10, Underground. Number 9, The Elephant Man. Number 8, Flow. Number 7, American Fiction. Number 6, Show Me Love, aka Fucking 'Em All. Number 5, Late Spring. Number 4, Memories of Murder. Number 3, Maborosi. Number 2, Once Upon a Time in the West. And number 1, Persona. Once again, I want to thank all of you for getting me to 1,000 subscribers on the channel. Again, I appreciate it. And of course, I'm going to watch more movies starting next year. But how can you get involved and watch Rate Hard and get your reviews on some of my videos? Well, all you gotta do is follow me on Letterboxd, and I usually follow you right back so I can see your reviews when I look at my friends list. So if you want to get involved, go ahead and follow me on Letterboxd at Watch Rate Hard. So everyone, again, I want to thank you for a great 2025. So I hope to see you again in 2026. Enjoy your holiday, have a happy new year, and we'll see you on January 9th, 2026.